Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 31st of January, comes to you from London. And we start, as always, by looking at the dollar index. Dollar falling back this morning, so we're back to bearish below the cloud, still looking very bearish on the medium and long-term charts. So we haven't activated this new downside target of 87.70 on the dollar index. That's another 1.5% lower. We haven't activated that yet, but a move just below this sort of 88.75 level would activate that, and of course if we take out this low that we saw last week, that would be very bearish. Euro is conversely trying to recover against the dollar, so we are just seeing that coming through on the cloud, not quite yet on the lagging line, but euro is looking stronger. Yen also, the dollar is looking weak still here against the yen, and again sterling making a little bit of a recovery back to the sort of 142 level, looking strong against the US dollar. Looking against sterling and euro has the upper hand still, sterling below the cloud on the short-term chart, and of course still long-term bearish against the euro. Against the Swiss franc, we're seeing sterling lower, and against the Australian dollar, we're seeing that as well. Bitcoin nudged below $10,000 this morning, so we were at about 9,700. So this $10,000 level is pretty key. And in fact, we tweeted yesterday, and I can just easily do another tweet. You can tweet from any chart. So in fact, in Updata now, so I'm just going to do a quick tweet while we're watching. This is how easy it is. I'm just going to say Bitcoin below $10,000. And I'll show you this on my Twitter page in a second. Any Updata user can now do this, and I'm just going to put in hashtag Bitcoin. So you can literally just tweet as you see things. Really valuable. So looking at the S&P 500 index, it fell back quite sharply yesterday. Most US stocks fell back. We're seeing the NatGas falling back as well. Still bullish above the cloud on the short-term trends, as is the Dow, but the Dow fell quite heavily as well, down several hundred points. And the Russell 2000 now just coming back below the cloud. So we are just seeing the beginnings of a sell-off. But then, and of course, we had Trump's State of the Union address, but we are seeing the future up this morning. The S&P future up 0.4%, and the Nasdaq E-mini up 0.4% as well. But these futures are now both bearish below the short-term cloud. The FTSE 100 index down over 1% this morning, so really falling away there. The really big story in the UK this morning is the demise of Capita. We look at the FTSE 250, where Capita now sits, we're down 1.3% there. And if you look at the actual index list here on the FTSE 250, I can just literally look at the best performing and the worst performing, and here we see Capita down 38%. And obviously we've had the recent collapse in the UK Crude, and this is causing ruptures through a lot of these service companies, and Capita shares just plummeting. What I would say is that Capita has been in a long-term bear trend since 2015, when the lagging line and price crossed below the long-term weekly cloud. On the daily chart, we've been in a bearish scenario for several months now, and of course we've even been below on the short term. We had this target of 176 given. We're sitting at 222. That 176 was given when Capita shares were way back at the sort of £5.77 level. So we really have seen this massive downside target given and now being met. So the moral of the story is steer clear of things that are in downtrends. Don't be a bottom picker. And we're seeing that play through today with Capita shares. We'll do some more tweeting on Capita throughout the day, so keep an eye on my Twitter page, and I'll show you that in a minute. So the DAX index is also down 0.4%. The Nikkei down nearly 1%. Markets mostly selling off globally. Hang Seng holding on to its strong gains and outperforming the other indices. Shanghai down very slightly, but still bullish above the cloud. And the Indian Sensex index is down just 0.5%, but still looking bullish on all time frames. The Australian market also was up slightly, up 0.25%, but just bearish below the cloud. Brent crude is down nearly nearly 2/3% at 68.50 this morning. So we are in a bearish trend on the short-term chart. Long and medium-term charts still look bullish. And WTI, of course, picture is very similar. US NatGas falling right back, having spiked up to 360 in the week. 365 we touched. We're now back at 306, and that $3 level looking coming under pressure. We've got targets below $3 here. So this spike in gas prices, very short-lived. Copper is just holding on to its position. It's bullish still on the medium and long-term charts, bearish short-term, although we're just playing with the cloud here, so that's looking stronger. If we go straight to gold, of course, gold tends to be a beneficiary of a falling dollar. We have been selling off the last few days on gold, but it looks like we're about to make another transition, pushing to this resistance level. This 370 area is really strong. 2016 high of about 1375. If we can get through there, then the sky's the limit for gold. And we do have quite a lot of long-term upside targets now, so gold still looks very strong. Silver looking much the same, of course. Not quite as strong on the long-term chart with downside targets playing there, but the medium-term chart is looking better, and we do have an upside target of some 22%. Taking a look at US 10-year yield, sitting still at 2.7%. Not much move on the State of the Union speech last night, but interestingly that we are holding on to these gains. 3% interest rates looking almost certain, 3% yield almost certain on pricing and rises in interest rates in the US. Apple shares still struggling below the cloud, falling away there. Google holding on to their gains, looking strong. Amazon also continuing to look quite strong. And Facebook had some jitters but did recover off the cloud last night and still sitting in these high 180s. And Microsoft looking strong as well. So it's not all bad, but Apple is certainly a little bit of a worry. Keep an eye on those markets and watch the Twitter page, and I'll show you just where that is. So if I, it's at charts today. If you're not already on Twitter, sign up to Twitter. If you're already on Twitter, you can also tweet directly from your updated chart on your own Twitter page. So you can see here, that's the Bitcoin charts there. So Bitcoin below $10,000, that's the tweet I did as we were doing these charts today. So why not give it a go yourself, or follow me on at Charts Today, where I tweet throughout the day. So easy to do from Updata now. You'll just see me tweeting as I see things during the day. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.